Hello and welcome to IATEFL Live. Hello, girls.
Hello,
Hi.
Georgia. Hello, Anka.
Welcome back to the show.
It's been a month or two, hasn't it?
It has been indeed, yes.
So what's
I have
new?
absolutely missed you.
Oh yeah, likewise. I can't. It was Brighton. That was the last time that we saw each other, and I can't believe that it's already 2-3 months since then.
Yes,
Crazy.
No,
and go.
Yeah,
no.
I
Incredible.
know. I know.
So let's welcome people watching us from home. So hello, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for joining us today because in this live show, post-conference live show, really, we are celebrating today inclusive practices and pride. So it's going to be a very exciting show. We were just talking before about it with our guests, and I'm truly excited. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, no. Also very excited. I think it's a very current topic, isn't it? And there's so much to talk about, and it's not AI.
Yes, that's true. We need a little bit of a break from AI, don't we?
Oh yes.
Absolutely. So we have got a lot of people joining us today. We have got Anka, we have got Nikki, who will be interviewing um, some very interesting voices in terms of inclusive practices, pride, and of course our own IATEFL voices. Let's say hello to the people from the comments. Let's say hello to Peter and some random people, Chris and Sean as well.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Lovely. So I am going to first of all welcome our first. Nikki will see you in a bit, so we are going to say goodbye to Nikki for now and say hello to Isen from our Ibsen Sig. So Isen, oh, there we go.
Hello.
Hi.
Isen, welcome to the show, and I'm going to leave you to.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
So, Isen,
Yeah.
we have a lot of special interest groups as IATEFL, and people might know that we have a lot. They might not know about Ibsen, and one dedicated especially to inclusive practices and special education needs. Could you tell me a bit about who you are and what Ibsen is doing?
Right. Okay. Well, our aim is, of course, to promote inclusive practices and support teachers to create diverse and inclusive classrooms. And when I say diversity or diverse classrooms, of course, we are referring to students or individuals with different physical and neurological needs, learners with at different ages, with different beliefs and religion, and of course, learners with different diverse gender identity, and students who need to express their gender more freely. So this is what we're doing, supporting teachers in terms of materials, in terms of mentorship, in terms of how to approach students with special needs, because all these people, all these individuals need some kind of special attention, especially in certain teaching contexts.
Yes, and I think every teacher has experience with this need, if hopefully also the tools how to deal with this. Now, as Georgia said, this is the post-conference live stream. And at the start of the conference, the Monday off conference, we always have the SIG events. And yours actually was really good. And I mean, they're always good, of course. But when I was attending the conference, even during like evening talks and other events, I heard people talk about your SIG event. Especially because of the books and the inclusivity and also the collaboration with other SIGs. Could you tell me a bit about what you did?
I can talk about the showcase, if you like, because we didn't have a pre-conference event this year. And our showcase was, well, there were a lot of presenters who touched upon neurodiverse learners, teaching neurodiverse learners, and designing materials within the framework of universal design. And of course, some other presenters who delivered talks and workshops. I'm trying to remember, sorry. Workshops on learner identity, labeling learners, and also how to make materials more inclusive in terms of learner identity and gender expression.
Very important.
Yeah.
And a very current theme also, I think.
Yeah.
And you have activities coming up with the SIG, right?
Yes, there are some others. Well, every month. Well, this is the summer break, as you know, but we're thinking of sending our members a kind of, we call them SENI materials. Some materials for neurodiverse learners or learners with special needs, other special needs, which could be useful for parents, for teachers, for learners, for everybody during the summer. That's why we call them SENI. It will be out soon, and our new format of newsletter will come out. We're working on it. Come out in September. And in September, there's this themes conference. Our other joint coordinator, Giovanni, will be delivering a workshop there on TBL and labeling. There are others as well. We're cooperating. Well, it's not decided yet, but we're cooperating with the Research SIG for a one-day conference, and also TSIG, Testing and Assessment SIG, in the future. So these are the upcoming events. And we're going to take part in the IATEFL conference, which is held in Prague every year, because Jana, our joint treasurer, is from Prague, and she is one of the organizers of the conference, and we'll have an Ibsen SIG stream there.
Nice. Lots of activities.
Yeah.
Now, for people who are, obviously, the people who are members of your special interest group will get the newsletter, will get the SENI materials. Love that word pun. What about the rest of us who aren't members? What can we do?
All right. Okay. So, for example, after this talk today, our social media coordinator will share some websites in our social media, on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow these websites if you like. And also, we keep posting a lot of stuff on Instagram, and also sharing links and materials on Instagram as well. If you just follow us on social media, I'm sure you'll just have access to all these materials as well.
Okay, so anyone who is not joining this special interest group, go to social media and follow them.
Please.
So they at least get some of those materials.
And the other thing is, they can send an email to us. They can contact us, because we provide mentorship. That's for free of charge. So just send us an email, and we'll be there to support you.
Mentorship, what kind of examples should I think of for people who want this mentorship? Like, what kind of topics do people want to be mentored on?
These are, like, for example, there is a teacher who's never worked with dyslexic students, and she needs some kind of support in terms of how to communicate with the student, and in terms of materials. And we're here to give you that kind of support. And also for queer pedagogy as well, we have a lot of stuff, because it's kind of cultural issue. This I would say sexual orientation, sexual identity, and there are in the world, there are some countries in which teachers don't feel comfortable with working on such or talking about such topics. Of course, it's a choice, personal choice, but also there are some socio-political constraints as well. So we're also here for them to support.
So whatever your background, if you run into special needs learning or have questions about inclusive practices, even if you don't feel, I'm quite lucky. I'm from a country where we talk about everything. So we probably sometimes shouldn't. But if you do feel like you're coming from a country where you can't or you don't know how to bring this up in the classroom, aside from the social media, you offer tutoring.
Yes, exactly. One-to-one tutoring.
That is a
We're
brilliant
there.
service.
And you don't have to be a member to do that. Just send us an email and we're there.
Okay, that is a brilliant, great service. As you said, summer is coming up, which means that most teachers are either sort of easing into the summer vacation or they're like starting up summer schools. But once education starts, what is the 1 or 2 tips that you feel like current things that people really should do or could do? Practical tips. How can we start the year or end the year?
In terms of inclusive practices, you mean?
Yes.
Well, we're going to have a kind of, I think it could be a CPD chat, a very quick one, or a kind of interview podcast in September. What to do, how to start the school year. So please wait for it. But if you're an inexperienced teacher in terms of dealing with learners with special needs, just try to understand that person, the individual. That's the first thing that that the teachers that we should do, and then everything will come up later on. And as I'm repeating myself, I know we're here to give you.
I think that's a very important message to keep repeating. We are here. You are here to
we
help.
are here. Please get in touch with us, because it's not only me, it's not only Giovanni who's the other joint coordinator, but we're quite a lot of people who are specialized in, each of us is specialized in different areas of special needs. So whatever you need, we're there. We can give it to you. Don't worry.
That is a lovely message. And also have an interest. So no spoilers on the September podcast on how to start the school year. But have an interest, listen to people, ask questions, listen. And if anything's up, anyone can contact you and get help.
Yeah. Try to have a chat with the student. That's the most important thing. I think the first thing that you need to do, because in this way you can understand their needs, and you don't have to ask what their needs are. Just have a chat. You'll see. Through time they'll open up and you'll be there as a teacher.
And I think that is one of the things that makes teaching also one of the loveliest professions, is that we
Exactly.
can be there for others and we can make that difference.
Yeah.
And for some students, even more so than for others. Thank you. And good reminder for everyone. So there will be information shared on social media, which might be under like the current live stream. And if not, the special interest group has their own social media. Go and check it out, because you guys offer so much. Go and check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aysen. That was brilliant. And I absolutely agree with you that sometimes when it comes to inclusive practices, we might sound repetitive, but the key thing is that every individual is different. So we need to take it case by case, don't we?
Yes. Every individual is different. Every individual's needs are different. So
absolutely amazing, Aysen. It was really nice to talk to you again, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Anka, guess who's here?
I don't know. Santa.
Santa. I've been called some things in my time, but Santa Claus in the middle of June as well, really. Oh, actually, looking at it, it's exactly 6 months today until Christmas. So there you go. That's the reason it must be.
I know.
And how many days before the next IATEFL conference?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm going to say about 287 and a half, something like that.
Spot on.
It sounds good, doesn't it? Hi,
John, what
everybody.
updates have you got for us?
Let me tell you. Okay, as always, I'm going to say there's lots of things happening at the moment. And if I can ask or encourage everybody to head over to the IATEFL website, you can select the events button and see all that's going on. Each of those colored tiles you can see there is a different event. And I had a quick look, and I think we've got about 6 or 7 events happening in the next month. So there's always something for you, whatever your interests, your professional interests are. You don't need to be a member of IATEFL or of a particular special interest group to attend, although of course members get the copy of the recording and a certificate of attendance for all of the professional development webinars they do attend. So highlights in the next few weeks, in the next 4 weeks, our Learning Technologies SIG have an event coming up on the 29th. Which is really focused on their committee and the expertise of their committee, giving insights and expertise in learning technology. Our material writing SIG on the 2nd of July, which is very soon, have an event on considerations for developing language materials for deaf and sign language learners, which sounds incredibly useful, interesting, and ties in very well with what we've just been talking about in terms of inclusive practices. Our main IATEFL, so for those of you who don't know, we do a monthly webinar which is available to absolutely everybody, and the next one is going to be on Wednesday the 6th of July, and that's actually focusing on note-taking strategies and calligrams, which sounds interesting. I was thinking particularly for example, EAP learners and teachers. After that, on the 14th, our Business English Special Interest Group have a talk for anybody who's a freelancer. This sounds really interesting for you. Setting your pricing fundamentals. How does that work? What's the best approach for freelancers in terms of setting your pricing? Thought that sounded great. Yes, I'm carrying on. There's another 2 I wanted to mention on the 22nd of July. The Materials Writing SIG, they're busy, they're back again, and they have a session, an event on creating materials to enhance English for academic purposes, EAP vocabulary. And then the final one within the next 4 weeks is our pronunciation special interest group, and they've got one of their popular pronunciation cafes running on the 27th of July. So sounds as though there's something for absolutely everybody there.
My calendar is already filled up.
I know. We never stop. I must also tell you, if I can take the opportunity, that you did say, and I can't believe it was 2 months ago that we were in Brighton at the annual conference, but yes, the next one is already in preparation, and we actually are very excited. We have a new website specifically devoted to that, which you can find at IATEFLconference.org. A really obvious title, it seemed to me. Please do go there. You'll find lots of information about the dates and the events. You can't book your place yet, but you will be able to in the very near future. But you can fix the dates and put them in your calendar, find out exactly where it is, and start looking at and building up your plans. The only other thing, Georgia and Anka, if I have the time, that Anka, you asked a question of Ison of how can you get more information about IPSEN. Of course, the answer to that is join the special interest group, and in general, please consider joining IATEFL. If you go to our membership page, you can see all of the benefits that you get in becoming a member of our global community, not just in terms of being part of a global professional community of English language teaching professionals, but tangible benefits in terms of getting access to events, resources, being able to apply to speak at the IATEFL conference, and lots more. So please do head over to the membership page and have a look. There are different membership options. If you're training to be a teacher, we have a student membership. if you are within the first 5 years of your career as an English language teacher, we have a membership for you. If you've retired, there's a different membership for you. There is a membership for institutions, which can be very useful if 3 or 4 teachers within the same organization want to join. So please do go along, have a look at all the benefits. If you've got any questions, just let us know and we'll be happy to help. That's me done, Georgia.
Amazing. Thank you so much, John. But before you go away, let's welcome, because this is a fantastic reunion in this show that we're celebrating everyone. Let's welcome Nikki
Oh.
to the mix.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello, Nikki.
Hello, sorry, I was muted. Hello, how is everybody?
Hot and bothered.
Hot and
bothered. Absolutely.
I liked Sean's comment in the chat.
Oh,
It's good to
what's he
see
been
John
saying?
still in black.
I just like to bring the tone down for everybody. Why does everybody always comment on my tops? I don't know. I should have been wearing a rainbow
I hadn't
top
actually
today,
noticed
actually.
that you're always. Is it true?
Yeah, I'm just miserable.
Okay.
What can you say?
And apparently
Anyway,
from now
moving
on,
on.
you're Santa as well.
Miserable Santa. I mean, honestly.
That's me. Well, thank you for that.
Amazing. So I'm going to say goodbye to John for now.
Hi, John.
John,
Bye-bye.
thank you so much. I love your updates as always. And then we're going to say goodbye to Anka for now. We will say see you later, because we want to say a big warm welcome and hello to our old friend Tyson.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Happy Pride.
Yeah. and
Happy
to you.
Pride.
Thank you
Tyson,
so
how
much
have you
for
been?
putting this on, because it's important. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to leave you to it then to discuss, and then I will be back at the end of the interview. I'll see you soon.
Cool.
Perfect. Bye,
See
Georgia.
ya.
Thank you. Tyson, hello. Thank
Hi,
you
Nikki.
for joining us today.
Oh, I'm very
How
happy.
are you?
I'm really good. I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good too, but it's slightly earlier in the day for you, isn't it? It's like 9 o'clock.
It's
isn't
almost
it?
9 o'clock now, so I'm, full of energy at the moment. So
Good. And
let's do it.
Absolutely, let's do it. So first of all, in case there's anyone who hasn't met you yet, could you just briefly tell us who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name's Tyson. I work at the University of Toronto in an EAP Foundation year program, and I've done that for a long time. I direct it. And in the summer, we have international youth in sort of a general ESL type of program. So that's kind of my day job. And then I consult and most of my research and interest area is with regards to inclusive practices, and particularly LGBTQ plus representation. So that's sort of the second prong. And I've been with IATEFL, for a long time in various capacities as well. So
yeah, you have, haven't you? You've done a lot with IATEFL.
it's my home. What can I say?
Oh, very glad to have you, Tyson. So hang on. So Pride for you, obviously, it's going to be a massive thing this month.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us everything. How are you celebrating it? How are you including it in the classroom? What could we do to do the same?
Well, I'm kind of lucky in a couple of ways. Some people might say, anyway. One, I live in Canada, so there is our first Pride was way back in 1981, and there was rumblings of it before then. So I'm come from a place where there's a certain amount of tradition with regard Pride and LGBTQ representation. So I fully acknowledge that my context is not the same as everybody's. But that's not to say that there aren't challenges here. The right wing sweeping through in terms of political opinion and pushback on things like Pride or drag shows or things like that. That's happening here as well, right? So that's a thing. So I'm talking from a place of privilege to a certain degree. However, I'm also in a position at my work and in IATEFL and things like that where I do have a certain platform, and therefore I try to use it as much as possible to promote things that are important in the world. And one of those things is representation and belonging of all sorts of people, including queer people like myself. So that's sort of it in a nutshell. And then June is Pride Month in lots of places, not just Canada. So it makes sense that in June, it would be the easiest time or the sort of safest time, you might say, for loads of people to sort of more visibly talk about their support for LGBTQ people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
And so what does that look like at work, for example?
Well, so there's a few things. One thing I wanted to show off was, you might see different companies in different places starting to rainbow up things, right?
Mhm.
So their logos might be rainbow, or they might have rainbow merchandise. And, on one hand, you want to do that because that is a visible way of supporting the community and suggesting that we're okay with queer people. But it's not enough, of course. And rightly so, people are criticized if they only do that. Action behind the scenes is also important. So you need both of those things, in my opinion, not just one, right? It's not something we need to pick. So just as an example, right, we need these types of things put up in schools or in businesses that show off that this is a safe space for you if you're a queer person, right? These types of rainbow paraphernalia, I would say, just as an easy, recognizable way for a queer person, a young person, maybe who's unsafe at home, to know that there's a place and a space for them at their learning environment. And I think in education, that's particularly important. And it's in our remit, right, to make that sort of very visible. Similarly, where am I here? These types of little stickers. This one's Protect Queer Youth, but there's loads of them. There's loads of different kinds, can be put up in different places in your office or your classroom or on your books or on your laptop, right? And again, it's a visible way to show to our learners, and I'm speaking solely from an education perspective right now, that you are a welcoming person and it's safe to be who you are in our classroom.
But I think something that's, sorry, carry on.
Oh no, I've got a couple more if you don't mind.
Go.
So we have translated into various languages at the University of Toronto information about being queer for students and parents, right? So you may think there are some cultures out there who are less likely to talk about this, right? So China might be one of those. And so we have, for example, all this material that's written in Mandarin, which talks about things that might be difficult to do in your own culture with your parents. But since you're here in this environment and it's a safe environment, we're going to give you the tools to help you be able to do that. And then lastly, I'm just going to show off a couple of books. Sorry to monopolize. It's important also, I think, as people to do our own research in order to become more and more familiar with queerness. And, a lot of people have said, even previously in this live, there are some cultures and countries where you just can't talk about these things. It might be problematic for your own safety. And that's true. So I'm not really going to say everybody has to do exactly what I'm saying. But even in countries like ours, where it's okay to talk, there's still teachers who are very resistant. And I think one of the ways to bring you into it is to just do some more research, right? So this is an example of a book by a friend of mine, Ethan Trin, who edited it. And it's for allies, right? So it's full of stories about being a good ally in language teaching if you're not a queer person, and also some challenges with doing so. And I think this type of book is a good resource. But also YouTube and all sorts of different places are great as well. My own book, of course, in case you want to buy that one, How to Write Inclusive Materials. And then, in your own library for your students, why not just add some queer-related reading material? So this is a graphic novel. It's been made into a Netflix series. It's meant for young adults or teenagers, I would say. And it's called Heartstopper. And it's very engaging because unlike many other shows where queer people are sort of a side character or killed off or tragic, they are the main characters throughout the entire book. And it's a lovely story that doesn't end in tragedy. It's full of hope. So I think these are just some ways that Pride Month can be a way to inform yourself and inform everybody else, but also be visible.
Absolutely, and they're lovely ideas, that people may not have thought of, that are relatively simple, that you can use just even in your environment and in your practice. But do you have any advice how people could approach the topic of pride and inclusivity in a perhaps more conservative or less accepting educational context?
Well, I think honestly, any of these ways are not bad ways to do that, because it's not like everybody has to come out in a rainbow shirt and be flamboyant or whatever. You be yourself. The whole point of pride is really to be accepting of people for who they are. And so if you can model that lack of judgment, right, just allowing people to be who they are, then that's a good way to do it in a more conservative environment too. But of course, do what you can, little bits and pieces here and there. But I do encourage, like in places like us, in places like IATEFL, it's very important that we are publicly visible and we are publicly supporting the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, this is great. And so just kind of to finish off, any ELT professional who is beginning to explore LGBTQ and inclusivity, they can turn to organizations such as IATEFL. What else? Is there anything else that you could advise them to do?
Well, I think you need to look out for people that are, consultants like DEI, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion consultants like myself. If you just Google that, you'll probably find things. But if you just look for me at Seaburnt on socials, you'll probably use whatever I post as sort of a springboard to find other people if I'm not your cup of tea.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you are, Tyson. Thank you. Thank you very much for talking to us today. Some absolutely fantastic ideas. Hello, Georgia.
Nice. So what are you talking about? Of course, you are our cup of tea.
Well, just trying to be inclusive of everybody, not just myself.
And can I just say, thank you very much for showing these resources, because I think that every little thing helps making it, turning our environment into a welcoming environment as well. So thank you very much for the suggestions and allowing the space for everybody to be heard. So thank you very much, Tyson.
Thank you.
Happy. Thanks. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Amazing. So before we continue and say hello back to Anka, let's go on a 30-second ad and we will be back for more. We are back with Anka. Nikki, we're saying goodbye to you for now.
See you shortly.
And we will see you in a bit. So, Anka, we are very excited to also have with us today a very important member of our IATEFL team, Derek. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to IATEFL Live.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invite.
So I'm going to leave you to it. And I will see you both later.
Okay. Yes, because last Wednesday I got the email I'd been waiting for weeks. But before we talk about my inbox, Derek, could you introduce yourself to the people who don't know who you are?
Sure. So I'm Derek Phillips-Shue, and I am the editor of IATEFL Voices. And Voices is a bi-monthly publication. It's IATEFL's flagship magazine, and it contains all sorts of useful articles from IATEFL members, and sometimes people who are not members as well. But it's all related to ELT and any sort of research or best practice, any sort of important themes that are ongoing at the time they get written up in the magazine. We also hear from the SIGs as well on a regular basis. and also the likes of the associates as well. So there's a lot going on in Voices every time, yeah.
Yes, and that's what I was referring to for Wednesday, because then number 299 came out.
Yes, it
Could you
did.
tell me a bit about the magazine? Because obviously I was waiting for it. I read it instantly. It's like everybody would. But for people who might have missed it or haven't read it yet, why should they really go back and find it in their inbox or go to the IATEFL website to find it?
Well, issue 299, so that's for July and August. It's actually the post-conference issue. So in it, there's actually a lot of reviews about the conference itself. So there's a number of members who attended Brighton back in April and have written about their experience and the talks that they went to, maybe people they met, Brighton itself as well, of course. And there's also a number of others who have written reviews of the plenary talks as well, all 5 plenaries, all of which were excellent and groundbreaking in their own way. So there's reviews there that people who maybe didn't manage to attend the conference could read up about there and then subsequently find out more about. We do also still have some regular feature articles that appear in that issue, and the SIGs have written up about their pre-conference events and showcase days that they had as well, and who spoke at those events, what they were speaking about, the sort of general themes that they were approaching, and that sort of thing. So there's actually quite a lot going on in that particular issue, as is usually the case with each issue of Voices as well.
Yes, definitely. Though I think this one's particularly interesting for everyone who has attended the conference to read the reviews, to read how others have experienced the conferences. But also, if you haven't gone, I think it's really quite informative, and it's not. I don't know. You don't always want to hear about a party you didn't attend, but the way it's written, I think is so informative that people will want to read this.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
if you didn't go.
Yeah, I think so. Even if you did go and say, for example, you went to a particular plenary, and then you read the review about it, you might want to go back and revisit and rewatch that plenary again. There may be something that you perhaps didn't pick up on when you were in Brighton, but the reviewer maybe did. So that might be something that you want to sort of follow up on and watch again. So, and similarly, maybe with some of the other events that are talked about in this particular issue, everybody has a slightly different perspective. So it's useful to read about what somebody else has maybe got out of it, which maybe is slightly different from what you did.
Yeah, but I always find it interesting to read that even the 299 had something on university teaching, which as a lecturer myself, I find interesting, but then also classroom practices for 11 and 12-year-olds that I still could get inspiration from and that are still interesting from my practice also to read.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the things that when I'm talking to contributors, my main thing is that if there's something practical that they're writing about for Voices, then that's something that pretty much everybody in the sort of Voices readership can get something out of. You may have to adapt a little bit, which is fine. Teachers are very good at doing that. But there will be some takeaways that you can gain for your classroom. And of course, we've got the one of the new sections in Voices is for the classroom. So we have been inviting people to write lesson plans and materials specifically to share with everybody at IATEFL, which I think is a really nice thing to do.
Oh yeah, I think as spoken as a teacher, we love materials. We love hands-on practical things that we can immediately use. So yeah, definitely. One of the things I like best about Voices. Now you said practicality is one of the things you focus on when you're selecting articles. How do you select which articles will be published and which how to build up a whole Voices?
It depends. So sometimes potential contributors, they'll email me and say that they have an idea about something that they might want to write about, but it's not been developed at that point. It is simply just the sort of germ of an idea. And so I help them to try and sort of build that up to maybe more of a sort of summary of what they might want to include, and then eventually the sort of full article. So it's a bit of a process that we go through. Other people will come with an article that they already have. I have had people who have submitted like 5,000 word articles, which is a little bit too long. So we kind of encourage them to maybe to sort of pick out the main points and then sort of summarize it a little bit more. So it does depend on where the contributor is in terms of their writing journey for Voices. They all get a copy of the guidelines, which are sort of quite clear in saying, it has to be about an ELT topic, obviously. Yeah, otherwise it won't get published. But also it has to have that practical element, or it could be something along the lines of best practice, or it could be a research study. I think I want to make it clear that we're not necessarily a research publication. Everything is reviewed by myself, and we also have our copy editor as well, who goes through everything. But we don't want it to be overly sort of formal. So because we want everybody to feel that they can contribute as well. So I think so long as it's a relevant topic, it's a current topic, there's some practical elements in there, there might be a bit of research in there, then yeah, that's looking good for publication.
Okay, so basically anyone who has an idea, as long as it's relating to ELT,
yes.
And could be practical or applicable to the classroom, reach out, contact Derek, and I think one of the advantages of IATEFL membership, what they say is you can speak at the conference or you can write for Voices.
Yes, so so you certainly can write up your article in Voices. You can also do so for conference selections as well. So everybody who presents at a conference is invited to submit a write-up of their talk or presentation for conference selections. You can also do so for Voices as well. I mean, I have had people who have created poster presentations, for example, then write that up in a little bit more detail for Voices as well. So yeah, that's a great thing to do as well, and to go into a bit more detail. So definitely, yes.
Good. Now, what is coming up next?
Well, we do have quite an important issue coming up, because it's the next one, obviously, is 300. So it's quite a milestone for Voices. It's been going in various iterations. It's been going since 1967. So it's had quite a long lifespan so far. But so we've decided that issue 300 is going to be a special issue. It's going to be a particular theme, and that theme is sustainability and climate change. And Anka, you have provided an article as well for that issue, which I've been looking at. So it's all good. But we've also had other people who have written on the topic of sustainability for Voices previously come back for this particular issue and follow up on what they've written about previously. So that's quite a nice link to some previous issues, and they can go into a bit more depth as well. We've got quite a few for the classroom lesson plans. So we've got 4 that we're publishing for issue 300. And we hear from quite a lot of the SIGs as well, the special interest groups, about what they're doing in terms of sustainability or what they recommend for their members as well. So it's another bumper issue.
For sure. I mean, obviously, a lot of people will know that sustainability is kind of my topic and has my interest. I can tell anyone who's watching this and thinks, I don't know, am I good enough? Can I write something that, Derek is I should point that way. Derek is a really, really nice and good editor. And he can make magic out of any piece that people wrote that they shouldn't. So don't hesitate and hand in any plans or proposals you might have. But also, I'm really happy that IATEFL and Voices is taking sustainability that serious, that they will make it the 300th issue.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's very important, and we're hearing from a lot of really important voices from the ELT community. And
as I said, I'm really happy that we have this. Also, it's a great way to start the academic year in September with all these plans and information on how to include sustainability. Is there anything you've learned from that issue or the last issue? Any takeaways from articles that you think like, wow, now I'm going to change this, do that, think about this?
Yeah, I think there's, in terms of the sustainability, it's always sort of easy to say, oh, yes, I'll do it. But sometimes there are sort of those barriers that might prevent you from sort of taking action. I think, how to overcome those barriers and sort of come together as one, as a community, which of course IATEFL is, and see what sort of impact, because together as a community, we can make a bigger impact than sort of individually doing lots of different things. Although there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But I think for IATEFL as a community, looking at sustainability and looking at how we can action and promote change as well is really, really important.
It is. And thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for having me.
There, can I just say, I just love Voices, and thank you so very much for your hard work. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Amazing. So, Derek, thank you very much. We will definitely see you again. We're not saying goodbye. So we will see you again. So thank you very much for joining us today. And before we say goodbye to everyone else, let's welcome back Nikki and John. Girls, you know what?
Yes.
I absolutely no, I meant Nikki and Anka. Because
no, John too. I mean, being called Santa is not enough in one episode.
That's absolutely fine.
One of the favorite things that we do at IATEFL, at the conference especially, is to annoy John.
Yeah.
Oh, not just at conference, that's for sure.
So what I would like us to do is just try to convince him to give us a sneak peek of next year's conference.
What?
Yes,
please.
Yes, please do. All my social media, all my plans is travel tips from Scotland and Edinburgh and what can we do. But
yeah, you keep sending them to me.
You see, what I haven't told you is you have discussed my black t-shirt, but I'm actually sitting here wearing a kilt as well. And that's just in preparation for Edinburgh. No, it's not actually true. You wanted to get a little flavour of what the conference is going to be like in Edinburgh?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a very quick look then. Well, there you go. Are you ready?
Yes.
John, was that you playing the bagpipes in one of the
It
clips?
wasn't me. It was my brother, my
Wasn't?
Scottish brother.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm still learning. I've got the kilt now. Bagpipes next month. Okay.
Oh, brilliant.
So we can expect you to be good at both, like and
Oh,
pull it off
yes.
in Edinburgh.
Good is a relative word, Anka. Better than I am now is all I'm promising. Right? But no, it's obviously we start planning for the next conference the day after we finish the previous one, but it's the first time we've been in Edinburgh for quite some time, and the first time at this event at this venue, which is right in the city centre, so easy to get around, and you've got the entire city to look at in terms of things to do, places to stay, places to eat as well. So I'm looking forward to it already.
Amazing.
I know, it looks amazing.
A promo. Oh, I'm so excited. Brilliant. Thank you very much for this, John. And thank you very much to Anka and Nikki. It has been absolutely amazing. So thank you very much.
Thank you to you too,
Thank
Georgia.
And thank you very much to everybody who has just watched this live, or maybe the recording of the live. So thank you very much. We will see you hopefully next month for our next live. And what a fantastic way to celebrate inclusive practices and pride as well. So thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.